Hey guys, Wombo Factory here. Welcome to today's deck profile about my deck I played at the Extravaganza event this weekend. And the deck I played is Zoodiac, pure Zoodiac, and I call the deck actually Turnskip Zoodiac. And you will see in a moment why it's called like that. So let's start off with the main engine. We play one red because it enables some plays, one bunny for recursion if we don't draw a second Zoodiac, so we still have one in hand because you can normal summon red, dump bunny, chuck, reborn back bunny, trident, pop bunny, add back red. So you still have red for next turn. Then we play 2 Ram, 3 Whiptail, and to round it off, 3 Thoroughblade, because if you draw Thoroughblade in one of these, you can just go normal summon, effect discard, and draw into another card that you can use. Then we play 3 Tenki, 1 Barrage, and 1 Monster Reborn. So we actually have 2 extenders. If something happens to our normal summon, we can still extend, because this deck is heavily normal summon reliant. So let's go to the part where it's called Turnskip.
Before we go to the Turnskip part, would you change something after the event, like in the ratios or something?
Currently not. I think it performed pretty well. The only thing I was sad about is in the side deck I had 3 Cycle Reader and I never saw Drytron. This deck is heavily optimized for meta, and I was lucky I didn't play against like all the guys, because I think he would have a real bad matchup. And for the matchups I will go later over it. So now I'll show you why it's called Turnskip. Because we play 15 hand traps. So this is 14 Zoodiac cards and 15 hand traps. So we only have 11 spots left. The hand traps we play is 3 Ash, 3 Crow, 3 Meister over Bell, because Meister is more versatile, because you can hit a lot of things that you normally can't hit, which is actually amazing. I mean, a lot of destruction effects, when you pop with Trident or send with Zeus, you can just Skullmeister them, but you can Bell them. Then we play 3 Droll and Lockbird to stop Witcher World, because sometimes this card stops them dead, because they can't really extend. And then the MVP, 3 Dimension Shifters. So the deck is called Turnskip because if you either resolve this card or this card, 90% of the time they will pass back to you. And after that you can just go for Zeus with 6 materials.
So we saw you play the 3 Droll, and you said you never saw a Drytron matchup. So if you know that you will not see a Drytron matchup, would you change them for maybe a Ghost Spell or something?
Not at all, because I saw Witcher World, like the matchups I had were Witcher World, Numeron, Eldritch Dog, Dinos, Virtual World, Eldritch with Life Twins, PK, and Virtual World. And this card helped me a lot against Virtual World all the time, because they go Quinglong at Lulu, and then you just draw, and then they can't further extend. So you have to deal with one Virtual monster less. Then we go for the utility cards. Just more draw power, 3 Desires, 2 Cyclones. This card came clutch a lot of times against the Visual matchup, because you can just, if you're under VFD, you can just pop the Juche and then normal summon a Zoo and go into Trident, so that your Trident at least has a pop. Otherwise they will just pop your Trident and then you will lose. Then we have only 5 cards left. These are 3 strikes, because you like to, even though this card, the deck is called Turn Pass, you like to go first, because then you have more interruptions, because you can summon a Zoodiac, which is 1 interruption more. And then we play 2 Floodgates, 1 Macrocosmos, this card again, Turnskip for most of the decks. If you activate this or D-Shifter, they skip turns over and over, because Witcher World can summon their monsters. And if they have Juche, you just have Trident to pop it when Juche activates. And then 1 Imperial Order, which shuts down a lot of other decks. Then we go into the side deck. So like I said, we play 15 hand traps main, And in the side deck we have another 9. So most of the time you end up with 21 hand traps post side, which stops them dead even more. We play 3 Lancia, super against Virtual World and most other decks, because we're graveyard heavy. Then 3 Cycle Readers. I never used this card, but it was ready for the Drytron matchup. Then we play 1 Gamma package with Driver, 2 Anti-Spell. Here I'm not sure if I would actually change it for Mistaken Arrest, because Mistaken Arrest would be better against Drytron, but this would be better against Witcher World. 1 and the power 3, 1 Reboot, 1 Harpies and 1 Pank.
So we see quite a lot of players cut Pankratops because it's not that good. Did it came up for you in a crucial moment?
I never drew it, but it's just another if game 2 we have to go second, so that means you can just side out the 5 traps, and then potentially, if you don't need it, 2 Cyclones, and then you have 7 spots. That means Gamma plus other hand trap, plus you can, if you know the matchup, you can just, if it's a back row matchup, you can just side in 1 Pank. So I think it's actually really good, because the thing is, if you're on the VFD, you lose most of the time. But the thing is, the deck is built for not letting them get to VFD, because you can just D-shifter and they pass turn. And after that, you just summon 1 Zoodiac, battle phase, attack, Zeus for 6. So that's 3 more stands with a few more hand traps in your hand. And that's the whole game plan of the deck, because they can't really play.
And why don't you play like Nibiru in side deck?
Nibiru, because Nibiru doesn't really stop Drytron and doesn't really stop Virtual World if they don't have a bad hand. So I rather have Lancia or Gamma, which has more impact than Nibiru, because most of the time they don't even play into it, because they can go with a good normal hand. They can go force 5th summon Bamboozling, and then your Nibiru is dead anyway. And now for the extra deck, we play 2 Borbo, 2 Hammerkong. I only play 2 Borbo because I only play 2 Zeus. Exactly. Because this card, most of the time, you need his name, or most of the time, you just need to attack directly and go into Zeus. Then 3 Chuck, and 3 Tiger Mortar, and 1 Trident. And then the MVP, double Zeus, Vespinato, to push for game. This card's also insane, and 1 Mega Clubs. This card is great against the Dino matchup, which unfortunately I lost because I couldn't make him. Because this card against like Virtual World and against Drytron, you can't really use this card because they can just go into Zeus and wipe your board.
So would you think, did you ever miss the 3rd Zeus?
Not really, because most of the time you make 1 Zeus with 6 and 1 Zeus with 4. That means you already have 5 cents, and normally you only need 2 turns to kill with this deck. So yeah, that was my extra deck. And now for the matchups. Game 1, I played against Virtual World. Unfortunately, I only drew a DD Crow there. That's why for game 1, that's why I lost it. And for game 2, he had a way too good hand, which I couldn't interrupt. I only had like 2 interruptions. Then game 2, it was Virtual World again. I just gave him D-Shifter. I drew D-Shifter. He passes. Next turn, next game, he goes. He used Prosperity in both games. I just roll him. He passes, and then I just summon Zeus twice for 6, and he can't do really much about it. Then 3rd game, one of the easiest matchups is Numeron LH Dogmatica, because Numeron just puts Sexel there, and you can just out it with Zeus. You can just go attack directly, put 6 materials over it, pass turn, and their turn just Zeus, and you're good to go. Then game 4, unfortunately I lost again to Dinos. Game 1, I made a misplay, because I had DD Crow and Ash in hand, and he went first, and then he went. He started with discard Dynamiscus, Miscellaneous, and I DD Crow and he Gammas. And I wasn't sure, should I Ash the Gamma so at least I can get the Misk out of Grave? Or should I just Ash the Misk? Because I think that, in my opinion, in my head, it was, if he summons Gamma right now, he can maybe go into Omega, which I'm not even sure he plays, because a lot of decks don't play Omega. And after that, that's one thing, and after that he needs to activate, he needs to hit the 1 out of 4. Because if he has a normal summon Oviraptor, he can just Oviraptor normal summon and send Misk back to Grave and then go again. So for me it was rather crucial to try to stop the Miscellaneous from actually triggering, because then they can't combo. Then I can just go Zeus for 6, or potentially summon actually the Mega Clubs and try to kill him from there, because he can't out it. Like most of the decks don't play an extra deck monster, and UCD is their main deck monster. Then game 5 was Virtual World again. Like I said, D-Shifter. It's D-Shifter, I drew D-Shifter so often. They pass turn. You go for 6 and you win. Game 6, it was Eldritch with Life Twins. There, he normal summon. No, I go first. He normal summons. I go Trident. He goes Chain Droplets. This card. I chain Cosmic and then chain Targeting and then chain Imperial Order. Because if he really wants to resolve that Life Twin, it has to be important for him. That's what I did. And then game 7 was PK. That dude, he was so sad, because one turn, like game 2, one turn, first turn he was under D-Shifter, and the second turn he was under Lancia. So that means he couldn't really do anything. And last game was Virtual World again, just D-Shifter. D-Shifted them, and D-Shifter and roll, and you pretty much win the game. So that's that. So thanks guys for tuning in today. I think I wouldn't change a lot about this list. I'm really happy with it, even like after I made it at 2 AM and I went 6-2, which these 2 games I could have put 10, maybe 1. So yeah, thanks guys for tuning in today. Have a nice day and talk to you guys next time. Bye!